I'm Captain John Cole. I'm currently serving as Executive Director of the Interdiction Committee, commonly known and referred to as TIC. TIC is a large interagency body consisting of 27 principals right now, all with one common mission, and that is to counter the grave threat of narcotics across the globe. So during this week's TIC meeting, we have 27 principal members from the different agencies, and they discuss and resolve different issues that individually they may be talking about, but then in that meetings they get together and collaborate and try to synchronize that information. When we do share that information, that's when we get more interdictions and more drugs off the water, including here in the United States. Something we should also focus on is our domestic partners, our state, local, and federal police. If we can share information with them more also, then once the drugs do get across the border, they can remove those drugs from our community. So we rely heavily on our international partners in counter narcotics. They are extraordinary. The most commonly talked about is our Colombian partners, the Colombian Navy, the Colombian National Police, and the military. They're doing a great job reducing the amount of coca and cocaine production down in Colombia. We get to see what it looks like on the water, but it's significant to see the struggles that they go through down in Colombia, in those jungles, out in those remote areas. And when they transport the drugs, it's in a very unforgiving environment. Other partners we work with down in Latin America, the Costa Ricans, we work with them often, with Coast Guard lead-outs. Coast Guard law enforcement detachments have gone down and work with those 110s to go out and interdict go-fast vessels that are coming out of Colombia and Ecuador and up towards Costa Rica. So over the past few years, we've seen a rise on the SPSSs, and most alarmingly, the one SPSS that showed up off the coast of Spain, about 3 metric tons on board. The danger is just extreme, but that just tells you that the risk they will take to make a profit. The most critical piece in locating the SPSSs, as well as the pangas and other conveyances for the drugs, and that's the maritime patrol aircraft, as well as the unmanned aerial systems too, which we're coming online with. As soon as we have that overhead capability to sight those vessels from a long distance with their capabilities, then we can move the surface assets in with the people we have, including on the new Coast Guard assets, the national security cutters, which are certain game changers down there. When that force package has a ship, along with cutter boats and a UAS and the MPA over top, that's a game changer in our interdiction game. Success is going to be a long-term effort. I think success will look like more stabilized regions. We talked about the Northern Triangle. The illicit drug trade is contributing to the destabilization in Central America. So a more stable nation, more open elections, less corruption in those areas will certainly be a sign of success. And then ultimately here in the United States on the domestic side, fewer deaths due to overdose would be a significant win. We're already starting to potentially see that, where the number of deaths have also plateaued, which is a great sign, and shows that when we ultimately do remove the drugs from the supply chain and we reduce the availability of illicit drugs, we start to see the prevention, the treatment, and the recovery phases kick in, which also contribute to fewer deaths in the United States due to overdoses.